Hello, everyone. Om Shanti. Greetings of peace. Very warm welcome to Brahma Kumaris, Silicon Valley. Today, in the month of March, we start a new series, and the series is Getting Out of the Cage. And one might think, what is that cage? And I think we will try to understand all of that. How do we experience liberation while being in life? Some people have kind of tried to experience it by leaving the worldly life, going away somewhere far away, either in the jungles or in the mountains, and then try to experience their liberation. And it's a big question mark that can all of us leave our responsibilities and go out into the jungles to experience our freedom. To some extent, that feels a little bit selfish. Maybe some of us are lucky who have no responsibilities and can do something like that. But here at Brahma Kumaris, we are taught to be liberated in life while you are in your life, your day to day life, where you're working, you're living with your family, taking care of everything, including your body, but liberated. This liberation basically means you get the freedom to be who you truly are. And the true nature of each being is joy, totally beyond sorrow, beyond any kind of pain, is the nature of every being. And it is just an amazing, if you just even think about this idea, all surrounded by all kinds of challenges, problems, day to day complexities, and yet you experience liberation. That is a goal that is completely achievable within our hands. And to me, that goal seems so close day by day. And the more I experience this kind of liberation, when I'm out of every kind of limited cage, it is just such a powerful experience. It is amazing to know there is so much unleashed potential within us, right? And the more we try to emerge it, the more bliss you feel. So, in this entire series, we will try to first of all understand what is a cage, how do we get ourselves into the cage. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, each one of us has created many, many different kinds of cages for ourselves. Some are very heavy duty. You can easily call it, this is a cage. Some are very subtle. They are golden light. They seem like they're not cage, but they are a cage. So first, let's understand what a cage is, what liberation really looks like, and then we will week after week talk about the different kind of cages that exist and how we get out of that and experience liberation in life. So that is kind of going to be this kind of the focus of this entire series. It's a 5-week series, and starting today, this is the first week. So, as always, we will get started with meditation. And for someone who might be joining new, this is basically a completely discussion-based series where you participate over chat. And then towards the end, we also kind of let you kind of, you can also ask your questions by speaking up, raising your hand. And we always started with a Raj Yoga meditation to kind of bring more focus, stay inwards, and that allows us to absorb the topic, the content of the topic better, and also participate in a more powerful and engaging manner. So I invite you all to join me in this Raj Yoga meditation, and then we get into the topic. Sit in a comfortable position. And take a few deep breaths. That helps in relaxing. Let everything be as it is. Nothing needs to change. I, the changeless being, watches the sensations in the body change second by second. I, the blissful being, watches the mind with constant noises and disturbance, unaffected by the sensation or the noise. I am beyond the mind and the body. Let's go on a holiday to a different place, a place called planet Earth. We visit the planet Earth as guests. We are on a holiday. In that awareness, I know nothing is mine. There is no sense of ownership, and hence there is no fear of loss. There is no greed of possessing and over-possessing. There are no desires. And there is no anger at somebody taking away something from me, as I own nothing. I'm here on a holiday, temporarily, to enjoy this new place called planet Earth. I see so many people in the holiday. I have no special attraction or repulsion against anyone. They're all strangers to me. I'm on a holiday. I enjoy everybody's company. I see everything with detachment. And I use the things that are given to me with no sense of ownership. It is such lightness when I'm on holiday. Nothing of my old world is here. I'm seeing everything for the first time with fresh eyes. And I'm enjoying everything. I'm on a holiday. This is freedom. No possessions, no positions, no people. Nothing belongs to me. I'm a traveler who's so light. I don't need to correct anyone. I don't need to pass any judgments. This place is not mine. I'm here for a few days. I'm on a holiday. Temporary visitor. who's been given so many gifts, who's enjoying every day, but knows planet Earth is just for vacation. I'm not here forever. So where is my home if planet Earth is just for holiday? It's just a visiting place. Then where is my home? My real home is the home of light, a sky beyond the sky. I come from very far off place, a place where everybody is alive, living life, consciousness. And these beings of light live with the supreme light. They have immense love for each other. This home of light, every soul is pure, peaceful, loving, and eternally enjoy. Every being is desireless. Every being is content with the love of the Supreme and the love of every soul. And I, the soul, has this option to keep my awareness in eternity, to keep my awareness in the home of light with the Supreme and other souls, and visit the planet Earth as a holiday spot, not a place where I live and belong, that I need to own. It's just a temporary guest house. In this consciousness, I am free of desires, free of expectations, free of losing anything, free of judgment. I don't waste my time analyzing and overanalyzing. I'm on holiday. I enjoy everything and I return back home satisfied. What a wonderful vacation. I should visit planet Earth again. A very warm welcome to everyone in Brahma Kumaris Silicon Valley for the new series Getting Out of the Cage. And today's class number 1 will focus on why do we get caged, right? We should understand this. What does it really mean to be getting caged? So let's get started. And first question, right? What does it mean to be in a cage? And I would love to hear your responses over the chat. What does it mean to be in a cage? What does being caged mean to you? Feeling shackled and bound mentally and emotionally. Yes. Feeling trapped in five senses. Very well. Yeah. Being stuck in thoughts, negativity, not knowing our strength, past energy, feeling tied down by social norms. Yes, that's one big cage, no? Social norms. There are a lot of cages, and I would love to also hear that at a later stage. Always thinking about something. Yes, overthinking is one big cage. All the relations we have in this world are temporary, so I believe we should not get attracted deeply and practice detachment. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It is the truth that everything in this world is transient. And the sense of ownership is the biggest trap. Lack of confidence, trapped in wasteful thoughts. Very nice. And a few more ideas here. It basically, in simple terms, it means you lose the freedom, right? Whenever anybody is caged, there is some sense of loss of freedom. And what is that freedom? To be in the state that is comfortable and beneficial to me. I lose that freedom. When I am in a cage, I can't be in a posture that is comfortable and beneficial to me. It's a very uncomfortable position and it is going to damage me. It basically means to be caged means I can't be my true self, my natural self, which is the healed self, right? Which means if I'm not healed, means what? I am in pain. I can't unleash my potential. So, this is what being caged does. And we have to all check, have I lost my freedom in any way to be my natural, peaceful self? Am I in every possible way bringing benefit to myself? If there is anything I'm doing that is causing me a damage, it means I am in a cage. A caged person cannot do everything that they want, which is for their benefit, right? They can't. So, how does it feel? If you are in a cage, how does it feel? What are the feelings of a person who is trapped? It's important to acknowledge all of these things because sometimes we are not aware. We might be in cage, but we might not be aware. We might all be thinking, this is today's world, everybody is liberated, right? Yes, physically, I believe most of us are all liberated. Maybe even financially, a lot of us are liberated. But there are so many different kinds of bondages, and this class's intent is to expose those bondages that we all have. Overthinking, stressed, anxious, suffocated, yes, fear, yes. When you are in a cage, all of these kind of emotions we start feeling. If you think about it, a trapped person immediately feels very, very restricted, right? They feel overwhelming. Yeah. The trapped person is already restricted, right? And if you think about an animal that is caged, whether it is a bird or an animal, immediately there is restriction to the movement. And there is a kind of suffocation because there is no freedom to move, very restricted. So that creates some suffocation. That suffocation results in some kind of a pain, suffering. A bird who is used to flying in the sky, unlimited sky, and suddenly is restricted to a small cage, how would it feel? Suffocated, right? In lot of pain, suffering, frustration, trying helplessly to get out, but can't. So, feeling of that frustration, that anger, that restlessness. How do I get out? How do I get out? Moving from one wall to the other, figuring out, is there a way I can get out? No, and then maybe become very depressed. That man, what is this? I am trapped, very, very sad. And then a feeling of helplessness. No matter where I try, from which angle I try, I can't get out of this cage. I am trapped. Where I was open in the sky, and now I am in this cage, helpless. And after some time of trying, maybe the bird also feels hopeless. Victim mode. Yes, very well said. It is a victim mode. So, anytime, in fact, if I'm feeling like a victim, I feel helpless, hopeless, I feel trapped. It's a sign that there is some kind of a cage that I have put myself in. This is one of the key understandings that nobody can put us in a cage. Physical cage, yes, it's possible, that there could still be some people who are, kind of due to their power, trapping certain people, putting them in a four wall or in even worse places, locking them up. So, yes, physically, maybe some person can trap, but all of these other kind of cages where we feel like a victim, it is I myself walk myself into a cage, lock myself, and then I feel something else, somebody else has trapped me. And the only person who can free the self from that cage is I. Nobody else can free me from that cage. But the biggest problem is many of us don't even realize we are in a cage, or if we do, we don't realize that we actually walked into the cage and locked it up. So we are waiting for somebody else to come and free us. In the exact contrast, how would full liberation feel like? Again, question for all of you. And I want you all to experience it while you're putting on your feelings down on the chat. How would full liberation feel like? What would be that feeling? Empowered. Yes. Freedom, joyful, relaxing, yeah, in control. So true. So liberation is, yes, you feel like you're back in charge, in control, relaxed. Absolutely right. It's complete freedom. You're very, very thrilled. You're in a peaceful state. You also feel confident. That blissfulness, that powerful, that hopeful, purposeful. There's back again a meaning, a clarity, right? Whereas when you are trapped, there's a lot of confusion. What will happen next? Or will everything be all right? There's just too many question marks. So this is a beautiful and powerful state. How would full liberation feel like? So it's a very, very, very exhilarating experience. And in this lifetime, we have a big opportunity to experience it. This kind of liberation cannot be experienced when everything is good, everything is going in the right direction. That time you can't experience because you don't know the duality, right? It's only when you have seen sorrow, you've seen pain, you've experienced it, you've experienced restriction, you've experienced anger, all of that, you've seen it, then you know what liberation feels like, to be free of all of that. You're seeing people around you experience all of that duality, but you figured out a way to be free. And indeed, that time it just, there's a lot of, that inspiration to share it with others. But this true liberation can only be felt when we've experienced that trapping, that cage. So this is a important way to look at, what are the series of things that occur when physically caged, right? And we talked about this to some extent. Imagine some animal got caged, right? Like in zoos, we see animals, right? Animal who have the entire jungle to roam around, to run, do whatever they want, suddenly put in a cage. So first thing they feel is restricted, right? They can't move too much. And I've now if I visit, think about going back in the past where I visited some zoos, and I would see, in some of the zoos they would make that space a lot bigger than that cage, so it felt like they're partly in a jungle or something like that, like literally all mud and trees and everything. but still there was limit. There were boundaries. They even created small ponds and things like that, so it really looks like a jungle, their home. But the reality is there was still restriction. So restriction automatically causes some kind of a limit. So when we are looking at a physical example, it is the limit to movement, how much you can move, where all you can move. It is limited space only, right? Then after that, there is this feeling of frustration, the disheartenment, the feeling of, we talked about all of these different feelings, because the animal tries in various different ways to see how I can go to that bigger place that I was in, but gets frustrated because no matter where they try from, they feel they are trapped. So their movement cannot go bigger. And as a result, they become dependent because they're not able to fend their basic needs on their own. For their food, for their shelter, for their protection, everything they now have to rely on someone else. It is a huge loss where I can't meet my basic needs. I have to rely on someone else. So this bondage, this cage that the animal is put into, makes the animal dependent on someone else to meet their basic needs. Now, this dependency creates a kind of fear also at times, because what if some days, the caretaker doesn't come, misses a meal, or misses giving, some kind of a protection or something? Then there is this sense of fear. Man, that I didn't get the food that time, or I didn't get this that time. What if it repeats again? So now this dependent automatically is very, very scared, because after all, it is the basic needs, right? It's the core needs. And when that fear is there, it is obviously a very restless way to lead life. So this is like a chain reaction that each one of us is going through. There is so much fear in today's life because we've restricted our movement. And we will talk about what kind of movement we have restricted. And after a while, if the animal sees that, they're after all getting food, shelter, water, the basic needs are mostly being met, it's only rarely that the master forgets about them. After some time, there are two things. Again, depending upon the personality, the animal might become very lazy now and likes this easy life that somebody else is taking care of them, and now stops trying to be free. Kind of likes this cage, this limitation, gets used to this dependency kind of life. It's easy life. My basic needs are being met. Forgets about that big jungle that they were able to run, chase, do whatever they want. All of that is like past. They don't even remember anymore. In fact, I've known that some of the animals, when they are freed, they actually go back into that cage. They don't want to go away. So even we, if we have locked ourselves in different kind of cages, those cages become a place of comfort for us. There is so much limit there, there's so much dependency there, but we feel a false sense of safety in that place. And finally, as a result of this, the self's potential itself is caged. This is the biggest loss. That animal will never ever know what it means to be free, what it means to be a tiger, what it means to be a lion, or what it means to be a bird. For bird, it's unlimited sky is the space. There is no limit. Even for a lion or a tiger or any other animal for that matter, it's unlimited earth is the place. Where that small cage, right? So their potential, all their skills, they all become completely submerged, and they can never be who they are meant to be. And as a result, it's a very compromised life, below average life. So if we put this same kind of chain reaction in our own life, our cage is mostly, almost 99% is not the physical cage. Most of us are out of that cage. But there are so many other different kind of cages that are restricting our movement, our ability to be who we are. And every soul's ability is constant joy, a sense of this eternity, a sense of being liberated, a sense of being a mortal being. That is not there anymore. Instead, death is on everybody's mind. The word end, this will end. Even simple thing like you're eating a pastry, there is so much fear this will end. Such a joyful experience will end. Go on a holiday, again, man, now that holiday is going to come and it's going to be back off that, again, that, grind of the office, home, school, this, that. So everywhere we feel that fear, that end, that dependency. So there is a lot of restriction that we are all seeing as well. So why do we end up being in a cage? What causes us to lead a caged life? Caged life is some kind of restriction. And if we think about, we talked about physical cage, right? But what is the cage we put in? We put the cage of I can be okay, I can be comfortable only in this XYZ condition. That is the cage. So why do we end up being in a cage? Question for all of you. Comfort zone, lack of awareness. Yes. Society trains us to be there. True. True. Everybody knows only this way to lead life, to be caged, and we follow it. But the awakened one says, let the society do whatever it wants to. I will do what makes me feel good and comfortable. So, yes, it's good to understand, but let's not hold it as our boundary, right? That what can I do? Peer pressure, not aware of our potential. Very well said. Learned helplessness. At the surface level, right? If you look only at the surface level, very superficially, it looks like many of you said, we are unaware. Maybe we don't even realize that we are trapped. A lot of us don't even know that we are actually trapped, or we haven't tasted the complete sky. We haven't tasted what it feels like to be liberated. We don't even know what that it is. And that is why we feel whatever we have is the sky, right? It is such a tiny part we are experiencing, but we think it is the sky. So, or we feel someone else is forcing us to be in a cage, the society, the peers, the worldly norms. So we feel somebody else is putting us in a cage, and or we feel this helpless. There is no other choice. If you're living in this world, you have to be in a cage. You have to be in the cage of the society norms. You have to be in the cage of the family. You have to be in the cage of responsibilities. You have to be in the cage of possessions. You have to do all of these things. So that is that feeling of helplessness, of no choice. And like some of you said, it's a comfort zone, a sense of safety, being in familiar territories. Like we took the example of the animal who gets used to that cage. Even when he's free, doesn't want to go away, comes back, feels at least I get my basic needs met. I didn't fear, there was no animal trying to attack me. There is safety here. So let me be here. Has forgotten what it felt like to be in that open sky or in that open jungle. Ignorance. As you said, when we through test is we realize we are in a cage. So ups and downs reaches that we are in cage. Yeah, so we have to know when we are in a cage. So again, this old habit is gold. Old is gold is the one big thing, and This bird here has been put in a golden cage with a lot of jewels studded in it and everything. It's a very fancy cage. So many of us, maybe we are not in that heavy duty iron cage, right? So we don't realize it. But we are in this subtle, very precious, very attractive cage. And we feel, man, I'm so lucky to be in this cage. This cage of this family, cage of this good job, cage of this good possession, cage of this home, cage of my body, all of these things so beautiful, everything is going so well, my family loves me, in my job I'm doing so well, my body is very healthy and beautiful. All of this is like golden chains, they tie us. So old is gold, and we have to check, is it really safe and comfortable? Because many of us, we stick on to those old ways of living. We expect something new, something bigger, something fresher, but we use the same old methods. So it's important to always check, okay, old is gold, old is, all those old habits are comfortable, but are they really bringing me real comfort, real benefit, real safety? This is something that I need to check, and a lot of times we fail to check the deeper reasons for being in a cage, right? We saw the superficial, which is like either I'm clueless that I'm in a cage, or I'm thinking somebody else put me in a cage, or I'm thinking, no, this cage life is okay. No, it's at least getting me something. I'm all right, and my life is okay. It's not too bad when compared to many other people. My life is okay. So we continue to live in that cage. But the deeper reason why we remain in that cage is because it gives us superficial taste. In a very easy manner, it gives us a very superficial taste of who we are. We feel respectable. That cage could be that of job. And I feel respectable. I'm making a decent amount of money. People respect me there, or overall good connections. Okay, there are few that are not that great, but mostly my family is also good. They love me. I have this home, I have some finances. So it does create this, immediate false sense of security, belongingness, love, and peace. Although left and right, these parameters are shaking. At job, sometimes I'm challenged, sometimes I'm not given that visibility. At home, also, sometimes the family is mean to me. So I'm constantly fluctuating. But I maybe either gotten very used to this lazy method, of this is all it is, this is the world, there can't be anything better than this world. And this world, it is meant to be a little bit of joy and a little bit of sorrow. That is how life is meant to be. So we accept this average, below average life where I'm getting some respect, some peace, some joy, some security, and it's easy, I don't have to do much, and I get this taste of all of this. But the reality is, day by day, it is taking away my liberty of being who I truly am. Many of us actually die caged. We don't even know our complete potential. We leave the body with that caged mentality, very limited experience of who I am. Potential, self's potential is constant joy, constant feeling of love, uninterrupted peace. None of it is felt, and we feel. Um, so I'm reading this comment here. I'm in some discussion with my son about his hair. I would like him to cut it and make it short, but he really likes to keep it long. Every time I judge him about his hair, I think that is the kind of cage I'm putting him in. Yeah. It's very subtle, and this could be, I mean, it again depends upon how you are doing it, but we are in cage that this is the norm. Hair should be like this, face should be like this, dress should be like this, the word should be like this This is how you should behave. This is how you should not behave. We put a lot of cages for ourselves, and then we start passing on that cage, or we invite others also to join us in that cage. Hey, why are you outside? That's not the way to be. Come in the cage, right? So unknowingly, because we don't know what true freedom is, we remain in cage, and we start inviting others also to be in cage. And it is a very, very sad situation. But till I have not identified that I am in a cage, I can't free others, right? I have to first understand I'm in a cage, free myself. That is when I can help others be free. What is one of the saddest part of being in a cage? What do you think is the saddest part of being in a cage? No choice. Yeah, don't let ourselves realize our full potential. Yes. Feels that no one understands me. You don't get to explore life fully and cannot experience your full potential. Yes. Not experiencing true love. It's basically one of the biggest thing is I lose self-governance or autonomy. I have no more any control over myself. Imagine, driving a car where you lose control. How difficult would that road journey be where that car is really not coming in your control? The steering is going all over the place. The brake, you don't know when it'll hit or when it'll stop or not stop. It's very scary. We are leading such kind of a life where I've lost governance. My body is doing whatever it wants. My mind is doing whatever it wants. I don't want to see certain things, but I keep seeing it. I make resolution. I don't want to watch TV for such a long time, but I keep watching it. I keep saying I should not eat this thing before sleeping, but I keep eating it. Absolutely no control. None of my, resolutions or my words are being followed. Every order of mine is disobeyed. I've lost control, right? That is one of the biggest losses of this, saddest part of being in a cage. And indeed, like some of you said, you lose the ability to be who you are. You can't unleash your highest potential. It remains submerged. That is, you've never seen it. So sad, no? There is so much potential, and I don't unleash it. I lead a life of a cage, that limited who can't fly. A bird to whom the entire sky belongs thinks this is it, this small cage. What a sad way. So, for us, the other loss is that, and what does it mean to lose self autonomy? It basically means my mind and body will now function. They will not obey my commands, but they will actually function in a way that damages me. And they move me away from my truth. So I now become slave to the senses, like some of you said, right? Like, what is it by being caged? It is basically the senses have taken over. So this eyes, they don't listen to me. I don't have to see, I shouldn't be seeing, or I don't want to listen to gossips. I don't want to listen to this worldly information, but I keep listening. The ears are not obeying me. The eyes are not obeying me. The mouth is, I don't want to talk too much, but I end up talking. I didn't want to say some things, but I keep saying. This is the end result of someone who is caged, who's bondaged. Now these senses, these five senses, the body is controlling me, and in a very damaging manner. I'm watching late night shows when I should be sleeping. I have early day next work. I can't. My eyes keep saying, I want to watch more, want to watch more. I shouldn't be talking so much. It is hurting other people's, or people are not paying attention to me because I always talk. Nobody gives me importance. I keep making, I shouldn't talk, but my mouth doesn't obey. My mind is constantly ordering me. I'm telling the mind to be quiet. Don't think about the past. It keeps taking me in the past. I say, what is the point thinking about the future? Nobody knows the future, but my mind keeps going in the future. I've lost complete control. So this is basically one of the biggest damages from losing self-autonomy, that no more is there self-governance, self-autonomy, completely been taken over like a helpless person. I'm functioning in a way that is damaging to me. Day by day, I'm moving away from my truth. So now if I'm being commanded, if I'm being mastered, and I've become a slave of my mind and body, the life of a slave is the lowest kind of life. The life of a victim is the lowest kind of life. It's not a pretty life. We all know it. And we say, what else? At least, I have my basic needs. And we kind of console ourselves. It's okay. It's not as bad. But it is pretty bad. The one who awakens to their potential, for them, this cage is unacceptable. They can't keep themselves like this. They can't accept it that they are being governed in a way that is damaging them. So this mind, the evil mind and the evil senses, full of greed, full of all of that lust, has taken over. And then we cover it up saying everybody is leading that kind of a life. What can we do? We are in a world where it is the norm. It is not. It is time to be awakened and see all the cages and be out of it. This below ordinary life is not what the reason we've come to this planet Earth for a holiday. There is a lot of enjoyment for which we've come to this planet Earth. But all these cages are causing a lot of suffering and leading to a very below average compromised life. So another question, how do we get caged? Like, what are the steps that we take that we end up being in a cage? What is that process that we are following? End result is we get caged. Not being aware, self-aware of our needs, and end up listening to others. Following the false sense of security. Okay. Overthinking. So this is very, very important to know, because if we know, how I trap myself, how I create a boundary around myself, what am I doing? How does this cage come? How do I put myself in a cage? If I know, I will be careful going forward, right? So it's very, very important to know this, because at least Meghna didn't know this before. And I had so many cages that I was living in, limiting myself, many times suffocated as well. But now when I know what is that tool I'm using to put myself in the cage, I am very conscious and alert, very attentive about it. So it is that cage of I and mine. To every thought, in every thought where I am adding I and mine, and that what is that I say? I this position, I this possession, or I, this person, I, the Meghna, or I, the religion, I, the nationality, everything that is limited position. And if I add I to it, I become limited. That is, I am caging myself. Because the moment I say I am this religion, there is a very and with a sense of attachment, right? My honor is dependent. Typically, for most of us, I am this means what? This is my identity. This is my honor. This is the kind of impact I have on the world. So it's kind of showcasing who I am. And if I'm attached to that religion, then to me, automatically, that religion is my boundary. Everybody else who's outside of that boundary, I don't like them that much, or I don't have that same kind of feeling. And the moment the religion I am, if somebody, throws a stone at it by making a negative comment about it, I feel threatened. I, this religion, how dare you say anything about it? I, this gender, and you're throwing a stone that this gender is a weak gender. Immediately, very, very threatened, feels very, very sensitive about that. Mine is the other. My chair feels like, suppose, you're given on a stage, there are different chairs, and you are given the biggest chair because you are the guest of honor or whatever. And if you'll see, my chair is the biggest chair. And you feel like this big, a big sense of identity there. It is so absurd that small, small things. Oh, I am in this, driving in this Mercedes or whatever, the Teslas, or even better cars. I don't know all the names. I am this bigger identity. It is so absurd, but each one of us is doing it. I have this special nail polish color. Everybody's been complimenting, Meghna, where did you get that nail polish color from? My nail polish. And I'm feeling big because of that. If you think about it in reality, it is so absurd. It is really delusion that I can feel big and small based on the car, based on the nail polish, based on the chair, based on the job, based on the religion, based on the gender. These are all cages that I'm putting myself into. And each one of us is doing it. We have so many cages like that. Everything that is limited, that is bound to change. A job will change. I can't be in that same job forever. The religion, it will go through its ups and downs. Gender, same thing. I will not be that same gender. This body is perishable, that gender is perishable. So I'm adding my name, I, to everything that is perishable and changeable. What do I own? Everything that is changeable and perishable. Everything that has the word the end to it. My body, my beautiful body, it has an end. It will age. Every second it is aging. My coffee mug, it will break. It will age. My family, it's not going to be your family forever. And they might leave you. So what is mine? Who am I? This is so important to understand. Till we don't understand that, we are day by day creating more cages for ourselves, more suffocation for ourselves, more limitations for ourselves. And these boundaries are not allowing us to remain peaceful. I am peaceful when everybody says good things about my religion, when every other religion is not as good as me. I am happy when everybody praises my family, my child. I'm not so happy when other kids are being praised because I'm the best mom. My child is the best child. My child should be doing the best. Cage. Cage does what? Limitation. Here, my emotions get limited. My thoughts and feelings become limited because I've created a cage for myself. When can Meghna be comfortable? When she's only this cage of her identity. should have that honor, should have that security, right? So that limited sense of security, by adding the word I and mine to a thought that is limited, and that, our identity is based on this three P's, right? We are taught this. I'm sure you would heard of these three P's: people, positions, and possessions. These three P's, the moment I say I am this, or it is mine next to these three things, I am caging myself. So, with that, I would like to ask each one of you, if you're able to share, if you're comfortable, what types of cages are you trapped in? Not in general, but with this knowledge and your understanding. And in the upcoming classes, we will pick some of those cages, talk more in depth of it, that how do we get into this cage and how do we get out of it, right? We will talk about that. So if you're comfortable in sharing, I would love to hear what type of cages have you trapped yourself in? Don't tell generic, but the cages that you have trapped yourself in. Okay, my job. All right. Honesty here is, I appreciate that. My passe. What does that mean? I didn't get it. The cage of too much love. Interesting. You mean a lot of people? Kids' future. Okay. My past. That the world is a scary place for females and I have to ask for approval and permissions for my ideas or goals. Okay. So the cage of a gender, maybe, and the cage of people, of what they will think and what they will do. Okay. I still didn't understand my pass. I'm sorry. I don't know what that pass means. Are you saying passport? I don't. Too much love to everyone. So maybe a people pleaser? Is that what it is? A people pleaser? Or means their past? Okay. You mean your past? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Comfortable in as is. Okay. So you don't want any kind of change, don't have maybe ambition. You're just satisfied easily. If that is what you mean. Cage of dependence on food to medicate strong emotions, both positive and negative. Strong emotions. Okay. Cage of not doing anything new or meet new people out of comfort zone. Yes. This cage of comfort, right? Don't want any change, don't want anything new is a very big one. And all of us, many times we put ourselves in that cage. Ambition is such an important quality of the soul, and if it doesn't experience it, it can't experience its full power. When we restrict ourselves like that, it leads towards a careless, lazy life. Then I've been there. um, Good. We'll pick some of these, if we can, in our upcoming series, some of these cages, to see how we can get out of it. Um, and deal with it, right? So, relationships can be a big cage. It could be one individual, it could be the entire family. You just caged, you're all the time only thinking about them, don't know how to be beyond them. You're either trying to control them or they are controlling you. So, this becomes one big bondage, and many of us go through it. Actually, we are all out of time, so I'm going to stop here and we'll continue this in the next class. I want to see if anybody has any questions. If anybody has any questions, we can take that. You can raise your hand if you want to speak up about anything, share anything, or if you have a question, put it on the chat. How to break free. Yeah, in the upcoming classes, we will talk about that. I think first, with this class, we just try to cover to understand what it means to be in a cage. How do we get inside the cage? And then we also talked about different kinds of cages, right? And then in the upcoming classes, slowly we'll start talking about how to get out of it. That will be the upcoming series. But simple, I would say half of your work is done if you've recognized the kind of cages you've put yourself in. Highly would recommend an exercise to go today and see what are those limited identities where you're adding your I and mind to. What is that I consciousness you're very attached to? Of this planet Earth where we are visitor, right? Nothing of this planet Earth is mine. And we have so many I am this in planet Earth and mine. So that itself is a cage. The moment we realize that, it is a lot of freedom actually. When we understand that, man, I'm putting my I and mine, my sense of belonging to things that are changeable and perishable. Should I be doing that? Should I be putting myself in a cage? That awareness itself frees us. Cage of lack of confidence. All right. All right. Looks like no other questions here. So if you have a minute, please stay back for a short meditation. I am that bird whose home is the unlimited sky, free to travel, free to move, free to be who I am meant to be. After flying free in the sky, I stop for food and water, just for the body. But I am eternally free, a visitor in this planet Earth. My home is sky beyond the sky, the home of light's nirvana. Nothing of this world is mine. Nothing of this world can satisfy my needs. I'm a desireless being. I have no needs. I've come to this planet Earth to share my inner richness through the expression of love and joy. I have not come here to destroy the planet Earth, to own it or possess it, or to damage it. I'm on a holiday. And I'm going to enjoy every moment here with the awareness that my home is beyond the sky. I am a temporary guest here. So I see a question here. Sometime you do it want to rock the boat. I didn't understand this question that much. Sometimes you want to, maybe it's just a comment and not a question. But if you are here, you can clarify. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Hope you have a very good evening and a beautiful week ahead. I'll see you again next week. Om Shanti. Greetings of peace.